Hello guys, welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we're going to look at the periodic table. Groups, periods, and blocks of elements. Groups, periods, and blocks of elements on the periodic table. So when you're talking about the periodic table, it is where we can locate the elements. The elements have been arranged with increasing their atomic number on the periodic table. The elements are arranged in groups and also in period. What is a group of elements on the periodic table? It is a vertical column or the vertical arrangement of elements on the periodic table. So once we're looking at groups, the groups represent the vertical column. So the vertical arrangement of elements on a periodic table represents the groups. So this is a drafted or a sketched first 20 element periodic table. So I have some vertical columns here. I have some vertical arrangements here on the diagram on the board here. So the vertical arrangement of elements on the periodic table represents the group of elements. Is that okay? And the periods also indicate the horizontal row or the horizontal arrangement of elements on a periodic table. So the horizontal rows. So we have one horizontal row here. So I can link these two together to form one row and another row here, another row here, and another row here as well. So while the vertical column indicates the group, the horizontal row also represents the period. So for the period, we are talking about the horizontal rows. Is that okay? So for group of elements, we're talking about the vertical arrangement of elements on the periodic table. And for periods of elements, we're talking about the horizontal arrangement. The horizontal rows on the periodic table indicate the periods of the elements. Is that okay? So starting from my right, or starting from this side, that is when I face the board, the left side, the first vertical column, we can name it group 1. So this becomes group 1. The next vertical column becomes group 2 or G2. The next one becomes group 3. This becomes group 4. This group 5. Group 6. Group 7. And then group 8. Is that okay? Group 7 and then group 8. But if also we are considering the modernized periodic table of elements, we could see that we have the vertical arrangement here, as I was illustrating on the board. So this vertical arrangement here represents the groups. So we have one group. So this one is labeled as 1A, that is IA for group 1. Group 2 here, IIA for group 2. And in addition to this one, they've added the transition series. Is that okay? So the one I have on the board here is without the transition series. Is that okay? So once they've added the transition series, we then move to group 3. So the group 3 here comes along with the transition series. Is that okay? But over here, there's no transition series in between. So right after group 2, I move on to group 3 without any transition series or any transition element. Is that okay? So we have the transition series in the middle here. They form this point. That is from scandium to zinc here. That is the first transition series. Is that okay? But once I remove the transition series out, I can now start group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Is that okay? But with the addition of the transition series, I have group 1, group 2, group 3, 4, 5, 6, in that order to group 18. Is that okay? So it also means that if we are including the transition series, the group 3 here will become group 13. This one becomes group 14. This will become group 15. group 16, group 17, and this becomes group 18 with the inclusion of the transition series. Is that okay? With the inclusion of the transition series over here. Is that okay? So for groups of elements, we are talking about the vertical arrangement of elements on a periodic table. And for period of elements, you're talking about the horizontal rows. Is that okay? That is group and then periods of elements on the periodic table. The group 1 elements, we also call them the alkaline metals. The group 1 elements are also referred to as the alkaline metals. The group 2, the alkaline earth metals. The group 7 elements are called the halogens. And then the group 8, the noble gases. The noble gases. So that is the group of elements and the period of elements.